Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to part of our continuing series where we talk to professors, scholars, philosophers, news reporters, anybody with a thoughtful mind who wants to talk about political polarization. A lot of professors have written on the subject, and we try to reach out to all of them, literally all of them in America who've ever published, going back to the 1980s. It's about many hundreds of records. One of the people we were able to get a hold of was Professor Michael CRESPIN. PhD. Michael CRESPIN is the director of Congressional Research at the University of Oklahoma. And we asked him one question. Let's see here. Director of Congressional Research at the University of Oklahoma. Michael H. CRESPIN is the director of the Carl Albert Congressional Research and Studies Center and professor of political science at the University of Oklahoma. He earned his PhD from Michigan State University in 2005. He served in the Office of the U.S. Representatives, Dan Lipinski, as an APSA Congressional Fellow from 2005 to 2006. Mike assists in leading the Center's graduate program and undergraduate research fellows. He guides students as they take part in the Capitol Scholars Program with internships at the Capitol. He also teaches graduate and undergraduate courses on the U.S. Congress and American federal government. So this guy's very well informed about how Congress works. He's worked in the federal government, and he teaches about it, and he's taught about it for years. This was the study that he wrote in 2007, Redistricting and Party Polarization in the U.S. House of Representatives for American Political Research. Like I said, we're trying to talk to every professor who's ever talked about political polarization from 2023 back to 1980. And we found this one from 2007. So this is what that study says. This is the study, Redistricting and Party Polarization in the U.S. House of Representatives in 2007. Almost a decade before Trump. And what did he say about polarization in America in 2007? The elevated levels of party polarization observed in the contemporary Congress have been attributed to a variety of factors. One of the more commonly recurring themes among observers of congressional politics is that changes in district boundaries resulting from the redistricting process are a root cause. Using a new data set linking congressional districts from 1962 to 2002, we offer a direct test of this claim. Our results show that although there is an overall trend of increasing polarization, districts that have undergone significant changes as a result of redistricting have become even more polarized. Although the effect is relatively modest, it suggests that redistricting is one among other factors that produce party polarization in the House and may help to explain the elevated levels of polarization in the House relative to the Senate. So redistricting has a marginal effect on polarization, but still significant. Marginal, but still significant. Also, I also like looking at old studies because this last line, although the effect is relatively modest, it suggests that redistricting is one among other factors that produce party polarization in the House and may help to explain the elevated levels of polarization in the House relative to the Senate. So that was in 2007. The Senate now in 2023 is as polarized as the House. So this study came out 16 years ago, and it's saying, wow, the House is very polarized compared to the Senate. Might be because of gerrymandering. And he was able to show a marginal link, not a strong, marginal. But now the Senate is as polarized as the House. We know that for a fact. So Michael H. CRESPIN. And I said, I just want to ask one question. Do you think political polarization is worse now than when you wrote your article in 2017? Actually, 2007. The article is from 2007, but yes, polarization in Congress is worse now. So, sorry, I meant 2007, not 2017. So as bad as party polarization was in 2007, when George Bush was around, it is definitively much worse now. Now, that may seem like a no-brainer to a lot of people, but this is the thing. We can't just say, oh, it's more polarized now. We have to ask experts who study this in the field. And so while it is one question, I've been asking everybody this one question. Is it more polarized now? If I can get a full interview, we ask that question along with many others. If I can't, and I only get a chance to ask one question, it's typically this one. Is it worse now? You're an expert. You're independent. Do you feel so? Here's another expert saying, I studied polarization in the early 2000s. I'm an expert in it. It's definitely worse now than anything we saw then. That's the point. We'll leave it there, and we'll be back with more.